We welcome you back to Mallory Square here in Key West, Florida. Barry Tompkins, Rich Marotta alongside. We await the start of a main event that we hope will happen, and that's about all we can tell you right now. What we do know is that they were wrapping the hands of Carl Drumond. The commissioner came in and said, I want you to unwrap one of your hands. Carl Drumond apparently got angry about it, did not want to do it. Then he was convinced, why not? So he went ahead, took the wrappings off. They put the wrappings back, and we still don't know what the status is of our main event. Odlanier Solis, as you can see, at 29 years of age, a long amateur record that we spoke of already, coming in at 268 pounds. Drumond, on the other hand, a guy who has had a title shot at 34 years of age, coming down to that last hurrah kind of point in his career.
As we take a look at the rules for the fight, there is no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round, including the last. Only the referee can stop the fight, and the man is here.
How do you like that, huh?
All right.
Not the man who came to dinner, but the man who came to fight, Carl Drumond. And as you said, I think there's going to be a little bit of an anger factor here, not only from Odlanier Solis, but I think from Carl Drumond also. Now, there were 2 guys who really had something to prove coming in here, and now they really have something to prove.
And Solis coming in with the old Sonny Liston trick of having towels underneath his robe to make him look even better and more menacing when he comes into the ring.
Well, he looks all business right now, does Odlanier Solis. He is 15-0. He's dispatched 11 of those 15 fighters by way of knockout. The clock, of course, is ticking. He is 29 years of age. He's been fighting since he was 8 years old. We talked about his amateur career, 359 amateur fights. We're ready to go, and we take it to the center of the ring once more, Lupe Contreras.
From Mallory Square, este es el combate estelar de esta noche. This is the main event of the evening, being brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, in association with Arena Box Promotions, Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, FSN, and Fox Sports en Español. Tonight, and at every boxing event in 2010, Top Rank Incorporated will be donating $1 from every ticket sold to the Clinton Bush Haiti Fund. This bout, scheduled for 10 rounds for the WBC International Heavyweight and WBA Latino Heavyweight titles. Este combate, pactado a 10 asaltos por los títulos peso completo, latino de la AMB y internacional del CMB. Supervisor, Dr. Raymond Garcia Septien. Los jueces son, the judges are Rocky Young, Michael Pernick, and Mike Ross. The referee, Sam Burgos. And now, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, from Key West, Florida, we find out quién es el más macho. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, presentando en la esquina azul. He steps in wearing red, white, and blue, vestido de azul, rojo y blanco. He tipped the scales at an official 228.5 pounds. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 228 libras y media. With a professional record of 26 victories against only 2 losses, with 20 of those victories coming by way of knockout. A nivel profesional, mantiene un récord de 26 victorias, con solo 2 derrotas y 20 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. Representing Limón, Costa Rica, Karl Drumond. Across the ring in the red corner, en la esquina opuesta, he steps in wearing cubano, red, white, and blue. He steps in wearing the colors of his homeland, rojo, azul, y blanco. He weighed in officially at 268.5 pounds. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 268 libras y media. He steps in an undefeated fighter with 15 victories, 11 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Invicto hasta el momento en su carrera profesional, con 15 victorias, 11 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. The former Cuban Olympian and 04 Olympic gold medalist. El ex olímpico cubano y medallista de oro en los Juegos Olímpicos Atenas 2004. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, Odlanier, La Sombra Solis.
And Solis, as you see, brought a rooting section here. Drummond, originally from Limon, Costa Rica, who lives now in Hollywood, Florida. Solis, born in Havana, now living in Miami.
Drummond is 35 years old. Solis, despite his long amateur record, is 29, which should put him actually, the way heavyweights go, basically coming into his prime. They, of course, mature into their prime at a later time than the lighter weights do.
So here we go, round one, and we'll see what this long delay, what effect, if any, it had on either of these guys.
Drummond got off to a great start in his career, ran off 26 consecutive fights, actually got a chance at a heavyweight, former heavyweight titleist, Ruslan Chagayev, and actually acquitted himself pretty well in that fight with Chagayev, although it went to a technical decision win in 6 rounds for Chagayev, when Chagayev was accidentally headbutt, and the cut required stoppage of the fight.
Then he came back just a few months after that, and he lost to a guy named Derek Rossi, who he probably shouldn't have lost to. Rossi was a last-minute replacement for Chaz Witherspoon, who Drummond was supposed to fight on that night.
And obviously here, Drummond has in mind boxing, using the ring. Now he's had a lot more professional fights than has Solis. I mean, he's got 28 professional fights, 126 has Drummond, but Solis, an enormous edge really overall in experience, because Solis had that magnificent amateur career. Drummond had only 6 amateur fights.
You can see how heavy-handed Solis is. His punches have that different sound to them.
It looks like, you know, as you take a look at Solis, that maybe a few pounds less would be a little bit better for him, probably.
Yeah, as we said, he came in here at 268. He fought his last fight at 271.
He has a 40-pound weight pull.
Yeah. So it's a pretty crisp, short punch also.
Drummond, as you see, excellent technique, hands held up high, good jab.
Chopping right hand.
Many of Solis's knockouts are one-punch knockouts. They come with quick-handed blasts from either side.
There's a right to the body, and then he brought the left up. He doesn't utilize the jab a lot.
Last fight for Solis, very impressive, was a second-round blowout of Monty Barrett, who of course himself was a former world title challenger and had a nice career.
There you saw just a glimpse of the jab of Solis, and it looks like a pretty good jab. Brought that right hand, just missed with it.
Now, Drummond calmly got away from that, though.
Good right hand to the body that time by Solis.
Despite a complete boxing posture here in round one, Drummond was not without power. He's stopped 20 of his 26 foes in fights that he's won.
Yeah, no, he brings a little something to the dance here. 34 years old. Of course, we talk about the clock ticking on Solis. It certainly is ticking on Drummond as well. And I think he really needs this fight if he's going to be taken at all serious as a contender.
Okay.
Same tactic. Utilize the same tactics.
He wants him to pressure him. That's what he did actually in the first round. I thought it was an effective round. Very calm in both corners. So we come to round 2 here. Drummond up on his toes a little bit more here in this second round. Was not able to really unleash much himself.
Remember, both fighters had kind of a weird warm-up situation before the fight because they got warm, then the hand wrap issue came up, so then they cooled off, cooled down, and then had to try to warm up again, or maybe had to get rushed into the ring. So it's an unusual situation. You see a little bit of the power that even a punch that doesn't land solidly, Barry, knocked Drumond off balance.
Yeah, Drummond was kind of not, and there's a good left hand. Puts him up against the ropes. Drummond was ducking down, and Solis readjusted his punch, so it wasn't a solid punch.
Odlanier, of course, very well aware that the people in Cuba are only 90 miles away tonight, and knowing that he's closer than he's fought, of course, before, to his home.
It's a right hand, a looping right hand, but it's got some pop.
There are hopes, of course, for Solis. I mean, he could find himself. In fact, there were actually talks about him fighting Vitaly Klitschko at some point, but Klitschko has gone in another direction. But I mean, he could find himself in with either one of the Klitschko brothers, I suppose, before the end of the year.
He just kind of walks his opponents down, and of course, I don't think he'd be able to do that against either of the Klitschkos.
Well, of course, you have to deal with that size. It's just, they're so massive.
Starting to open up a little bit more here in the second round. But Drumond is kind of letting Solis just walk to him.
But he hasn't been bothered really yet by Solis.
No. Left hand, and he's got Drumond back on his heels a little bit. That one's straight a little low.
But you never know what's going to happen with the Cuban fighters. Many come over here very well trumpeted. Some performed very well. I mean, Joel Casamayor, of course, was a world champion, a very good champion, a junior lightweight and a lightweight fighter. And Yuri Orcas Gamboa, looks like sky's the limit for that kid. Then on the other hand, you get guys like Ramon Garbe, who came here with a great reputation, didn't make it. Jorge Luis Gonzalez, of course, who was a huge disappointment as a heavyweight. So Solis is going to have to prove himself.
Yeah, no question about it. I think he's won probably the first 2 rounds here, but you know, again, just trying to put what he's doing tonight up that next level against one of the Klitschkos, both of whom have an outstanding jab. Say what you will about them, they both do what they need to do to win fights. Awesome night of boxing. Thanks, Alex. We're in the corner of Carl Drumond.
Very good boxer. He's out of Costa Rica, although he now lives in Hollywood, Florida. By the way, training Solis is his former amateur coach in Cuba, Pedro Diaz.
This is round 3. Scheduled for 10. No real damage inflicted so far. Solis just kind of stalking Drumond. Drumond has not been able to do much on the offensive end.
And while Solis has very quick hands, he's a little heavy-footed, and might be a result of a little too much weight. But then again, Sonny Liston wasn't fast on his feet either.
That's right.
And I can remember Sonny, you know, Sonny actually had, believe it or not, for as sullen as he could be, I mean, a pretty good sense of humor. And he once told a writer, doesn't matter how fast a freight train is when it runs over you.
Well put. Solis does load up. I mean, he is heavy-handed. There's no question about that.
Now, Drumond's going to need to get something going offensively. He's got a good jab. He probably would be well served to pump it out there a little more.
Yeah, it's just allowing Solis to stalk him.
And Drumond is doing a good job, Barry, of not getting hit cleanly. Although Solis has landed shots, he's not getting the clean shot on Drumond.
And he's just not throwing a lot of punches. And most of it is one punch, maybe two. Not really utilizing the jab very much. Although I do think he has earned Drumond's respect.
I think Drumond felt those last two, the body punch and then the one that knocked him back.
There was a little uppercut. That's got Drumond on the run.
Solis suddenly picks up the pace on his feet.
And now Solis starting to zero in. 4-punch combination. And Drumond up against the ropes. Well, Carl Drumond has just quit in his corner. He said, I've had enough.
I saw the referee go over to him, and you could see Drumond just didn't want anymore. He was just shaking his head no.
I'm not sure that he wanted to be here to begin with. And they say they're going to hold the purse of Carl Drumond. And
Drumond just flat out quit in the corner. He was just shaking his head no to the referee.
yeah.
He never appeared to me to be in serious trouble, but I think he was feeling the punches of Solis in that last round in the last 30 seconds, and he just quit.
So it's a victory for Solis. What did it tell us? I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth, but it is a victory for him. He runs his record to 16-0 with 12 knockouts. Carl Drumond quits in his corner. So there's your winner, Odlanier Solis, as Carl Drumond quits in the corner before the start of the 4th round. Let's go to Lupe Contreras now for the official result for the winner, Odlanier Solis. Lupe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the blue corner informs referee Sam Burgos that they can no longer continue the bout, and he stops his contest upon the conclusion of round number 3. Damas y caballeros, la esquina azul abandona el combate, obligando al referee Sam Burgos a parar la contienda después de la conclusión del tercer asalto. El vencedor por nocaut técnico, your winner by way of technical knockout. And now WBA Latino and WBC International Heavyweight Champion, Odlanier, La Sombra Solis.
So Solis is your winner. It's a wrap for us. For Rich Barada, I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.